what is it that we do when we start a composition? First of all, what is very important, as I'm sure you all have heard only 100 times, are the lyrics. Because, after all, our compositions are lyric based. I'm talking about the compositions that have been handed down to us over time. The ones that are traditionally used in Bharatanatyam are lyric based. Therefore, the words play a very important part. Whatever the language of the words, it is important for us to know the word-to-word meaning of every line. Before I started, I should have paid my respects to my gurus, Shri S.K. Rajnatnam and Srimati Kalanidhi Narayanan. So when you take the lyrics word to word, you understand each word and its meaning. Then you also understand the meaning of the entire line, then the meaning of the entire paragraph, and the meaning of the entire song, the composition. So you have the meaning of the micro and the macro. So you literally understand the composition inside out, the meaning. Once you have an idea of what the poet's intent is, then you listen to the music many times. So the lyrics and the music play in your mind many times, and a visual appears. How we learn is, you learn seated, because the importance is given to the face. When you're seated, you're not preoccupied with the use of your limbs. Of course, you use your hands and you use your torso. But since you're seated, you don't have to worry about walking, keeping time with your feet, etc. So the preoccupation is with the face, predominantly the face, of course, the hands and the torso. When you're seated, what happens is, when we start learning, every song is like a short story. You have a preamble, you have the main body, then you have the end. How much of importance is given to each depends on every composition. Each composition has its own demands. So some of them might have an elaborate preamble. The body could be crisp. The ending could be sudden. Or some can have a very short preamble, a very elaborate body, and a twist in the end. So really, it is defined by the composition. The demands of the composition are kept in mind while defining the preamble, the body, and the end. What the poet gives you is the body. What you understand from it will give you an idea of how to start and how to end. So when you're learning a composition, every line is repeated many times. It's like when the first line, the first time you say it, the second time you build on the first interpretation. Then you're literally layer by layer peeling off to reveal the essence of the composition. So, keeping the mood in mind, keeping the psyche of the intent of the poet in mind, keeping the lyrical content in mind, keeping the characters and their mood, you build on the composition. So you create a visual um, um, visual on stage, a visual story on stage. There are many points to be kept in mind while doing Abhinaya. Now, a lot of people ask me if Abhinaya is acting. Well, it is not acting, but is it only acting? I don't think so. The thing is, acting we usually connect it or relate it to a very different medium. When you say Abhinaya, it is to do with the performing arts. So, acting is also a component, but it is not merely acting. There are so many things that to be kept in mind about Abhinaya. When you are a soloist, in Bharatanatyam, all the characters are played by the artist, herself or himself. So when you do that, how is it possible to switch? The same line could have two different characters interpreting the line. So how do you switch? The idea is, this is a two-dimensional medium. So when I play a character, I keep the way the angle of the eyes or the side in which the eyes look. If I'm the heroine talking to the hero, then I talk to the hero keeping him on my left. When the hero replies to me, I reply to my right as the hero. So the supposition is, as the heroine, I look at the hero to my left, and as the hero, I look at the heroine to my right. So I switch characters. The stance of the body, that is the body language, the hastas used, the expressions in the face, etc., will show you that the character has changed. Now, just like you have the written word, the spoken word, you also have the visual word. And you have the visual language. What is good as a written language need not be appropriate or fully effective as the spoken language. Similarly, what is good for either definitely cannot be used the way it is for the visual language. To give you an example, suppose I say, where did you go? Where did you go? When I write it down as the written word, there is a certain way you use the language. When I speak, I can say, where did you go? When I do it as a visual, where did you go? Now, where did you go? There are 4 words to the sentence. Where is used. Did, is it necessary for me to emote it? No. You, yes. I can use the word you. Go. The hasta also elaborate. The go can also be used. So, essentially in the sentence, where did you go? The did has been edited. So, where you go is what you use in the visual language. So, similarly, while you are doing interpretations of an idea, simultaneously you should process it, you process it in your mind. You are editing it to form a visual language. So, whatever I think has to be translated visually in an effective manner. If I try to visually translate every word, it may not be effective. I have to learn to understand which word to stress on and which word to let go of. Only then will my visualization be effective? I can talk about it, or I prefer demonstrating it as we go on. What is, I'll take points as I demonstrate. I would like to take a couple of pieces that I would like to show. I'll start with Shiva Diksha. This is one of my favorite compositions. And in this composition, the heroine is a Parakhiya Nayika. There are three different kinds of Nayikas, depending on the marital status of the heroine. One is a Swiya, who is married to a man, wedded to a man, and is in love with him. The Parakhiya is one who is married to a man but in love with another. A Samanya is a woman who is in society allowed to have as many loves in her life and does not wed any of them. So a Shiva Diksha can be taken to be a Parakhiya Nayika because the woman in this is a heroine who is committed to the Shaivite principles. So she belongs to the Shaivite cult, the ones who follow Shiva. So in principle, ideologically, she belongs to Shiva. But her heart belongs to Mannaru Ranga, or the Vaishnavite hero. So how beautifully, at many levels, they look at contradictions, they look at the tension between religions, between different sects in a religion. They look at the nature of human emotions, because this is something all of us identify with. The woman in this tells the hero, I belong to I have taken Diksha, or I belong, I have given myself to the Shaivite cult. Even for a moment, I cannot think of going against it. My Guru, his order is the uppermost in my mind. Why do you come here? Why do you open the door of my little ashram? Why do you walk in unannounced, suddenly? Why do you tempt me with your presence? Why do you call out to me? Please don't touch me. Please don't speak to me. Please don't close my lips with yours. And as she says, please go away, I cannot come to you, I owe my loyalty to her, we understand from the lyrics that even as her lips say, leave, go, I cannot, her eyes say, come, I can. The contradiction in what she wants and what she feels her duty is the dialogue in this composition. This tension between her needs and her duties, what is right, but what she feels she wants, all this plays through in the composition. The beauty of our poetry is the poet gives you a suggestion with his words. The best poets give you the most few words, but those few words are laden with meaning. And they give you a lot of space to use the words and create a powerful picture. I'd like to demonstrate Shivadiksha Paruralanura.